Yo guys, what is good? Ase once again with another installment of Quick Cuts featuring FC Shufraken. If you enjoy my hero reviews, subscribe to the channel as I will do more once I acquire the heroes. Let's get into it. As usual, we will start off with his skills. His main passive is Thrust 3. When Shufraken receives damage, he will retaliate and stun the target for 5 turns. He gains 1 mana if his target is above 80% health or below 30% health. Like all other generals, he has a passive which grants mana. His one affects the front row. Fear of the Abyss is his unique passive, marking enemies with lower defense than himself. Should a marked target have 10% or lower HP at the end of the turn, Fear of the Abyss will deal 65% damage to all heroes in the same row. His FC is part of the Awakening theme, and thus FC Shufraken has the Harbinger of Awakening passive. If an enemy kills your ally, he will be marked with the Mark of Revenge, and it activates the Awakening skills of all allies if you damage or kill the marked enemy. His Awakening passive is Dragon Emperor. For each death ally, he will gain 1 mana on his turn. As all other Awakening passives, his speed will be increased by 25 and he gains damage immunity for 4 turns when his health is below 30% HP. Whoa, that's a lot of passives on this guy. Let's get to the active skills. His S1 is a single target ability which deals 300% damage. If the target is under Fear of the Abyss effect, you will punish them with this pair, dealing 50% damage every turn and causing a mana burn for 1 mana per turn. It costs 1 mana. His S2 targets the back row and deals 210% damage. It afflicts freeze for 7 turns. Additionally, it deals 150% damage for each self-harm stack on the enemy. This ability costs 5 mana. Gear and stats. His passive is directly benefiting from defense, so the bottom row should be your top priority when upgrading gear. For a defensive unit, he has quite high amount of attack, increasing his damage significantly. He has decent speed at 76 and overall very balanced stats. PvP. He used to be the king of the meta before the first Guardians came, and he made a swift return to the top once FC Aris was released. He's super suppressive with his thrust ability, mana burn and freeze. Additionally, you need to be very careful having units at low health. Since he has usually more defense than the backliners, it can be very dangerous keeping them on low health due to Fear of the Abyss. This would be enough for a decent PvP unit, however he also enables other units, namely Ramji and Valentina. Ramji will inflict self-harm onto the enemies, which in turn lets Shufraken deal more damage. Paired with Ramji's heal reduction, you have very little ways of combating Fear of the Abyss. Luckily for us, Valentina only has single target abilities. Her mana burn removes all mana from the target, rendering it pretty weak. Her silence could also come into effect, disabling cleansers or healers even more. This all makes him incredibly strong for PvP. And the FC version just tacks onto this. Gaining so much mana per turn when his allies are dead makes it super dangerous letting him live. If you knock out his allies, he will gain more mana and have more potential to freeze you. And with Fear of the Abyss, he can slowly but surely knock out your entire team. PvE. In PvE, he is a solid hero. Besides him, the only dark defensive unit is Buck. Shufraken offers so much for special dungeons because he has a freeze and thrust too. The mana burn also helps because it reduces the enemy's chances of casting high damage abilities. Overall, if you have him and are still working on your special dungeons, definitely put your resources into him. In chapter 11 he's decent but not the best. For this content he doesn't have the right element to break Guardian Stones, and due to the high defense scaling, you will be hard pressed to apply Fear of the Abyss. In Path of Trials, he can definitely be a help along the way, especially since a lot of us have FC Leppen. Activating all the heroes' awakening passives can be pretty crazy. Element Enhance. Currently, there isn't a strong requirement to break multiple Darkstones at once, so you can wait a little with him. Awakening. For attackers, I'm strongly against Awakening at this point, because we don't have the gear available to increase substats like crit, speed and hit. However, on a defensive unit like Shufrakan, they can be made a case for it. We have 2 of the bottom slots available, which are the most important for Shufrakan. If you awaken him, you definitely want to do it with 2 frost sets, improving his defense by a lot. Be sure to have 2 R1 pieces ready at 60 to equip on him right away. Conclusion. He is an amazing hero, period. For PvP, he provides your team with so much pressure it's kinda unreal. No other defense hero provides this much damage potential and harm to the enemy as him. If you would compare him directly to Garf, they are literally light and dark. Garf being the more supportive for your team, and Shufrakan being the oppressive hero. Usually, I don't talk a lot about appearance in Quick Cuts, but I guess I will add it. He looks hella dandy without the FC and amazing with the FC. His abilities also look crazily good in both versions. I personally prefer the darker look from the FC, but I would not hold it against anybody if they choose the regular version. I'm really happy that I pulled him, and I think I can have a lot of fun playing around and testing him in the various areas and teams. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if so, consider subscribing to my channel. Let me know in the comments if you have Shufrakan and which one you prefer. As always, it was a pleasure to have you here, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, enjoy the grind.